Lovely. All right, so thank you everyone for joining this session. So I'll be talking about student AI use under time pressure, structuring practice in an intensive engineering design module. So for a bit of context about myself, my name is Jenny, and I'm the lecturer module leader for governance, law, and ethics. This is the module at level 6 at Arden University. And I'm also an academic integrity officer at Arden. So you can see my role is a little bit beyond not just teaching, but also detecting academic misconduct at our university. So for the session today, what I'm exploring is how AI can support students under real academic pressure. And a little bit context about Arden University, most of our students come from widening participation background, which means they come from non-traditional background, some, those who have not been to education for a long time or who has had a long pause in their education. That's basically what Arden University students mostly come from. And what I'm also exploring in the session today is how I've built AI tools that teaches and not just blindly give students answers, and using ethical practice in AI-assisted assessment. Okay, so at any point, if you have questions, do let me know. We'd love to hear from all of you. Okay, so the problem I'm trying to solve here, I think, is not just me and myself, and I think lots of my colleagues and probably you yourself as well, is that when students face complex, high-stakes assessments with little scaffolding under intense time pressure. So at Arden, we got 10 weeks of teaching, and with week 10 is our submission week. And lots of the time, what students do, they do it last minute. They do it the day before, 2 days before, all of this panicking that happens before the submission. And with our students, lots of them, they're the first people who come to university. So some of them lack the academic confidence to know where to even start. Okay, so AI is a go-to tool for many students. So you've probably seen this in your classroom, and is one of the biggest problems or challenges that we're facing these days as educators. And I think right now there's a very, very big gap between AI availability and AI being used in a way that actually develops the learner. So with all of these problems, me and my team, we have tried so many ways, a lot of different experiments. And this is something that me and my team, we have built together. I don't know, can you see this okay?
Yes, Jenny.
Yeah, lovely. So, like the gap when the students, they open the assessment to actually write the work, there's a lot of gap that happens there. So when you see a blank paper and you don't know where to start. So this is where I want to address the problem. I want students to be able to have some sort of suggestions to help them brainstorm before they actually write down. So because my module is governance, law, and ethics, so I will think about 3 questions. For example, which governance theme interests you the most? So students can select which option that they find the most relevant to themselves, such as financial fraud and market manipulation, workplace ethics and employee rights, tech ethics and AI governance. So there will be 3 questions like this to help students identify their interests first, because I feel that it will make it simpler, for them to start writing when they know what their interest lies. And then the study portal that we've built, it will be able to suggest some options for students, so they can talk about things like the Boeing 737 Max, or they can talk about the very current case of OpenAI. If students feel like, no, I want to choose something else, that's absolutely fine. This is where they can type their own custom case right here. So we give students options, but at the same time, they have the flexibility of choosing their own case. Okay, so once they have chosen the organizations of their choice, then they will go into the writing suite. Now, the writing suite, the difference that it makes is that we want to build this AI tutor, for example, that can guide students step by step. When they say, I'm stuck, then the AI tutor will give it questions or give it some guidance. For example, here it says P&O fired 800 staff in one video call. British cycling failed to protect athletes. So this is what the students put in. And then the AI tutor will say brilliant starting point. So real governance failures. And then asking questions such as when P&O fired 800 staff without notice by video call, who do you think should have been consulted or informed before that decision was made? So with questions like this, it helps students to think deeper, right? Not just asking like, I don't know or help me write. Okay, so it's a very guided instruction that the AI tutor gives to the students. Okay, and this is not just an AI tool that we have built. It's also an ethical design, because when students do the assessment, there might be that they copy and paste from somewhere. Okay, so at first when I was designing this, I was thinking I will stop copy paste. I will ban students from copy pasting from anywhere. But then something in my mind, I just changed my perspective, and I thought, you know what, even if you copy and paste the content, I want to know how much you understand the content that you pasted. So when detecting copy and paste, let's say more than 50 words, then the system here will pop up 3 questions to check their understanding. For example, explain in your own words the main governance or ethical issues that described in this passage, what went wrong and who were responsible. So students need to type the answer here for at least 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, and well, this understanding check here, it will be triggered automatically when it detects copy and paste. 3 questions, so students must explain in their own words. If they say something like, I don't know, then that answer will not be accepted. The system will ask the students to generate their own answers. And I also realized that, you know, sometimes when students copy paste, it could be their own writing, right? So if the system keep asking the same questions again and again and again, it kind of deter the writing process. So there is this on the left-hand side. If you can see that, I wrote this myself, skip check. Well, this kind of like, okay, so we are building this trust with the students. So it doesn't feel like we are testing them. We are like the police asking them, explaining again and over again. So that is another feature of this understanding check. Okay. And well, with the understanding check, yes, so there's an example. So it will ask the students which BUS 6.1.2 theory best explain the situation described, explain why, and not just name it. If students say, I don't know, then it will say, that answer is too brief, Jen. Please write at least 2 or 3 sentences explaining your understanding in your own words. Okay. And then your student will have to explain something like this. All right, so I think the customers and environment, because they release cars, we generate more emission than declared. Okay, so that's how the system works when it's detecting student copy and paste the content, and also it will help the student think more about the content that they paste. Okay. So, all right, and beyond this understanding check, we also have another feature in the study portal, which is the boardroom challenge. So because the module is governance, law, and ethics, so we try to mirror real life experiences. We bring in this boardroom challenge where students can choose the scenario that they want to practice with. There are multiple options for students to choose, and all of this is closely related to the assessment to help students recognize which learning outcomes that they have accomplished when they do this boardroom simulation. And so you can think of it as a game as well, because when students do this, what they should expect from this is not just how they respond, but also they can reflect on their own experiences and what they hear from the news as well. So it's highly simulated more environments that we are building here. Okay, lovely. All right, so yeah, so I will just walk you through some features that we have built for the study portal. So is it still a very much like early stage, because everything that we've built so far is based on student feedback, lecturers' feedback, and also what we've learned from other institutions as well. So I believe this is a lot, that we still need to work on. So I'm hoping that I can learn from you and, not present this as a finished answer. Okay, so I have a first question, which is it pedagogically sound? So does the AI guided questioning actually build deeper understanding, or it's just add friction? Yeah, if
If
you
anybody
feel
would like to
happy to, yeah.
unmute and share their experiences or anything they would like to share, if it sounds pedagogically sound to you, that would be helpful. And even I would think that even for understanding, even answering this, even I would personally like to understand the motivation behind this model, what are the basis or foundation that this model particularly has been built. So I think particularly if I understand some things around it, it'll be helpful to answer more. But we have been receiving some comments here in the chat.
Oh, okay. So I need to open the chat first.
Yeah, I think I agree with Farheen, honestly.
Can you share how you approach design and interaction so that it feels supportive rather than directive? Um, yeah, sure. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is pretty much in its infant stage, so we are still building this within our own team. So we've had multiple members of staff that have tried this tool and, for like their own modules as well. So what their comment is like, yeah, it does feel like it is supporting students to scaffold their assessment, and rather than giving, just answers like any other AI tool. So that is the most I think honest response that I can give here.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
that's
think
helpful.
yeah.
So these are all the questions during your presentation, but underneath that you'll see people has been responding to what you asked in
Oh,
right now on the
okay. Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
It's starting from Peter Moll's response. You'll see it's been a response to what you asked.
Okay. I can see Gerhard say it looks very interesting. How do you prevent from it being overly complimentary and sycophantic? Gerhard, I have to ask a question. What's the meaning of sycophantic? Because I don't know what it is.
Gerard, if you can unmute and uh, elaborate on that, that'll be helpful.
Sycophantic, it's basically agreeing all the time with you in
Oh,
a sicklish way.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. That's a good that's a good one. Yeah, it's true. You don't want an AI tool that just agree with everything you say, right? You want it to be more critical. So this is embedded in the instruction of the tool. When I build this one, I ask it to be a supported tutor, but at the same time, it has to be critical in its responses. So not just be easily swayed from whatever instructions that the users give.
Thank you. And Xiang, you have raised your hand. Do you want to ask something?
Okay, hello everyone. Basically, I'm working with Jenny about this project. I'm the senior lecturer at Arden University. I just want to jump into some questions I have seen from the chat, which was very helpful. So for example, that question, we also thinking there will be no one solution for all. And that's the reason we frame it as a portal, as a system. We try to not giving one single text box to answer all the questions. That's the reason you can see Jenny has been highlighted quite a few tools within that portal. So each feature she has just highlighted will focusing on one part of the question. So we try to break it down. And we try to work all of these features working together to address or to evaluate or to support very specific part of the question. So by doing that, we are trying to prevent of this set effect as well. That's one answer to that. Also, I've seen the questions from you, like whether students are generally learning, progressing through steps, and also I can see the questions that do students interact with this ultrastatically or within a classroom environment. So we plan to do it in the classroom environment at first. We do have the option to let them to do it after class, but we want to focus on the in-class experience with supervision from the lecturers, which could also partly resolve some of the concerns, and that will allow us to collecting the feedback quickly. We can do it at early stage when we roll out, and we can quickly making changes to the portal as well. And Jenny, yeah, there's quite a lot of questions. I all collected in a Word document, but for this slide, there's a couple of the colleagues giving you the positive response. Peter, like to me, this seems like a great idea. I think it seems sound. Also, I can see from Fahim that I think this is best answered by your student. I like the options you have incorporated. And that's definitely true. But as we mentioned, it's still in early stage. We haven't rolled out to the students yet, but we agree that we should seeking co-design process stage with our own students, because after all, they will be our customer or our final user of that. So that's a really good suggestion. I can see from Senya that I like the idea. It is a guided learning. Exactly, that's something we try to build in mind. And I think, Jen, you can move to the remaining 3 questions.
Yeah. Okay, sure. No problem. So my next question, thank you, Shang. My next question would be, what ethical risks I am missing? So where could this go wrong for students, staff, or institutions? Yes, Fan say I might have missed this, but this portal access for an AI tool with a university account. Yes, that's correct. So students must if they want to use the study portal, they have to access the Moodle platform using their own student email to access this. On ethic, what happens if a student uses this tool and an idea they developed in a response to it penalized at eventual mark? Who better bears responsibility if the AI leads them astray, the course designer, the student, or the AI? Yes. So when students open the study portal, the first thing they will see is the terms of use. So there will be things like you must take responsibility for the final answers, and you should seek consultation from your lecturer before you use the answers as well. So students must agree to this before they enter the study portal. And in every response as well, it says you should consult your lecturer or module leader to be able to, if you have any questions, and because you have to take responsibility for the use of AI. Can this tool integrate with other LMS so that it can be made available for other institutions? Yes, it can. I believe so. Are they reading and understand it though? Yeah, Shank, you got something to say?
Yeah, I think it's really good feedback. I'm just copy and pasting to a Word document to collecting all of your contributions. But what I just want to say to Brown that I think it also we take it consider when we design the assessment. So we are not only introducing the portal to existing framework, existing assessment, existing module handbook. We are basically redesign everything. So we are trying to make it, as I mentioned, as a system. So they should operate very well and to improve each other. So in terms of the assessment, the mark that basically that will a very good question how we integrate in the portal into the final assessment. We try to frame it as a reflection part, and we try to minimize the risk of the impact of using AI. We are trying to capture the process of the student using the AI, not the final single outcome from it. So so that is still our early thinking, and we are trying to improving it, and eventually build a redesigned whole module to allow us to integrate the portal. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's some other questions.
Andrew just asked, how are you factoring in supporting students who resist or distrust AI tools? That's a good one.
That's a good one. So that's something we will. It's not the main part of this whole module. We are introducing today from the angle of this AI tool, but for this whole module, the use of AI tool is still a very small part of the final assessment. So we will see how it works, but I think that will be a good question we will need to think about. And that is absolutely true that given that the digital literacy of our students and also the technology poverty issues around our demographic. Yeah, so that's about that. Also, it's powered by external AI platform. I think that's true. But we will working with our own institution, going through the process of cybersecurity to see how we can best host it. But I think Jenny can share more how it was created.
Yeah. So with this one, if approved by our university, they will enter an enterprise plan. So with an enterprise plan, we will have this whole data security and also the safety net that we have if we do get to roll out this study portal. Is it an optional activity for students so that they can opt out if they have ethical opposition to using AI? Yes, I think with this study portal, I think it should not be seen as something compulsory for all students, because if they do choose not to use it, then I think we should respect that. And I don't think that they have to use it. They can use it if they want to. And should be seen as like study buddy instead of like you have to use it, otherwise you don't pass the module. I don't think it that way. So I hope I answer your question. And Ashley loves to ask, what would happen if this system was removed midway through the module?
Yeah, I think that's a real risk, but there's the first thing is that we will make sure it will get approval from the university before we launch it. But and also Jenny just mentioned we will find a way to make it be an option for the students. So that will also minimize the risk if there's anything wrong with the system, and we can students can still go ahead to achieve all the learning outcomes without it. Okay, well, if failure plays any role within the structured environment. Sorry, what kind of failure do you mean?
The system breaks, so there are some glitches and there are some iterations that have been raised by the students themselves. So are you putting that in scope? Because things can happen, things can go wrong. If you have to back out the system, what would happen then?
Yeah.
That's a good point, because with this module here, we're looking at about 2,000 students, over 50 lecturers across different study modes and campuses. So we do look into what if all of these 2,000 people can't log in. So it's going to be a rollout phase by phase. So we are going to test it with some groups of students first to see how they are receiving this study tool before, and also identify any problems, any glitches in the system, go back to it, fix it, and then keep working on it until we can find a study portal that works for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I think that's the second question that I ask everyone. So my third question would be, could this transfer to your context? So what conditions would need to exist for something like this to work, I don't know, in your work or in your school? Do you think that you could use something like this in your own context?
I think on this, Valentine has already asked, can this tool integrate with other LMSs? And can this be made available for other institutions?
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's it can. Yeah. Oh, okay. Edwin Long. Yeah, absolutely. So this can be embedded into Moodle Canvas using a lot of options, I think LTI and single sign-on. What LLM is it on? Shan, do you know this answer?
I think it's depending. I think we are using the infrastructure based on the cloud. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yes, cloud, yes. But not just cloud. I think you can totally build this on any other AI tools as well, because it's getting really smart, all these AI tools. So yeah, cloud is not your only answer here. How do you think this would have more learning value for your students versus telling an AI tool to teach them? Okay, so the difference lies on the instructions and also the resources that we put into the system. So we use resources that built specifically for the module. So students will find themselves in a grounded AI tool instead of an open web AI. So that would make the difference between this study portal and any other open web AI. Okay. If students succeed with the system, how confident are they? If students succeed within the system, how confident are we they can perform without it?
Yeah, I think that's still coming back to the question of how we design the assessment. When you say perform, do you mean that how they perform with their final assessment, or do you mean the engagement in the classroom? Or what do you mean about perform?
I think overall engagement that they get from the system, whatever reliance they have on the system is taken away. How confident are we that they can actually perform without this interaction with this model in any other module?
I think the system itself is built quite intuitively. So you really don't need any like AI skills or advanced technical skills to use it. It's just like any other AI tools. You ask questions, you get your responses. And yeah, as Shan mentioned before, we can totally give some training to students as well, how to use the boardroom simulation, because it's a step-by-step. So students won't find themselves in a place where I don't know where to start or what's the meaning of this.
Yeah. I'm mindful of the time. We have got 1 minute left. If you want to answer,
thank you.
ask your last question here.
Yeah, and the last question would be, is AI even the right tool here? So am I solving a real problem for the students, or am I creating a more sophisticated shortcut?
Yeah. If colleagues can reply in the chat, that'll be helpful. Like even I would like to ask, what would stop students from going on to any tool themselves also, even interacting with this? Is there any restriction? Is there any guidance around that? Or
restrictions and guidance around?
What would stop students from actually using because students might be using AI themselves already in different capacities. What would stop them? I know this is very directive that you have built specifically.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. Why am I building this tool? Why don't just let students use whatever AI tools out there, right? So the biggest difference would be that if approved by the university, then students will have more confidence in using it, because they won't ever have the feeling where I'm hiding the fact that I'm using AI, but they can say, yes, I use this studies support tool in my assessment because it's approved by the university. So that's the confidence aspect. And also because the responses that it gives to the students are, let's say, scaffolding students towards the end goal, which is producing the assessment, improving their understanding, which I think it helps more. Some AI tools out there just give the answers, right? No skills needed. Another thing is the resources that we use to build this portal is the learning materials. So the knowledge that the students get, the answers that they get is from the learning materials that we provide. So that is more accurate. And for example, as well, when students say something like, I'm feeling very stressed, I'm very under pressure, I need to have some support, then the study portal can guide them towards the Arden Wellbeing Services or the student support.
Thank you
This
so
is something
much,
that other AI tools don't have.
I would appreciate if you can answer to the rest of the questions in the chat. And
thank you. I will.
And it's lovely having you both. I think we can have a follow-up conversation in a podcast maybe.